So Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons, they win their games respectively. Georgia Southern beats Jacksonville State, and the Atlanta Falcons go up to a hostile environment and beat the Minnesota Vikings. And both teams have a lot to build on. I mean, this is something that could be a jump start to a successful season. Obviously, you got to take it one game at a time. But when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, they look like they're a team that was actually on a mission. And if this continues, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, despite not getting, touchdowns. And as for the Georgia Southern Eagles, I know that this was a high scoring game. It was a shootout, and a lot of people don't want to have a shootout in college. You don't want to win games that way. But what they done in the fourth quarter, hopefully this is something they can build on going against Maine and other teams going forward. So let's talk about both of these teams. First and foremost, how about the Atlanta Falcons? I mean, they go in, and this game could have been a 40-point win for them. I mean, literally, the way they played this game, if a couple of those drives turn into touchdowns instead of field goals, you're talking about like a 40-6 game. Like, it was that bad. But nevertheless, they make it happen. They get 6 sacks. I think it's like 3 or 4 turnovers. And they did a very good job of getting this win, because after what happened last week against Tampa Bay, that was devastating, you still managed to go in and take care of business. So what I think what the Atlanta Falcons could do is continue to build off of what they have now. They're going against Carolina this upcoming week, and they can continue their pass rush and the stingy defense that they have against a Bryce Young, or I think Andy Dalton still on the team. It doesn't matter. Their quarterbacks stand upright for the most part. There could be a lot of trouble for that. It could spell a lot of trouble for them when they go up against that front seven. So I think the only thing Atlanta needs to do, and I'm not going to stay on them too much because I got a lot more to talk about Georgia Southern. The main thing they need to do is just get that offense rolling a little bit better. You want to get some points in the red zone. And I'm not talking about field goals. You want to get 6 points when you get in the red zone. So this is something that they could build on. And it's just going to take it's just going to be a matter of time. These guys get the offense clicking where they can put up like maybe 30 points a game with the defense that they have. The NFC may need to look out. I mean, and I know, like I said, this is just one game. It's not much you can hang on, hold on to right here. But the way this defense played, I mean, I don't think they're going to be that schizophrenic where they're playing this well one week and they just fall off next week. That doesn't look very likely with the young guys they got and the way this defense is already set up with Jeff Albrecht. So it looks like Atlanta is turning to that real gruff and grimy and nasty defensive team that we haven't seen in a very long time. I mean, you're probably talking like 2010. Like, they can turn into that. But they have a lot to build on when it comes to it, so hopefully that happens. As far as Georgia Southern goes, man, look, I know there is a lot of chatter about Georgia Southern. It's not much that I can say this week because they actually won the game, and there's not much that I can really say because of the way they won it in the fourth quarter. They basically shut down Jacksonville State. I mean, you're talking about a team that put up, 30-something points, and when it came to the fourth quarter, they really shut them down, only giving up 10 yards in the fourth quarter. Now, can they build on that? Once again, just like the Atlanta Falcons, they're going up against Maine, which is not that efficient when it comes to moving the ball. If they can get that running game of Maine to slow down, the defense could actually make something happen. So this should be a really good test to see if you could, if the fourth quarter was a fluke or if it's something that you're really showing what you are on defense. Because we also have to think about this. You went up against Fresno State. You had trouble stopping the run. You did a little bit better against USC, all things considered. You was able to put up some type of fight against USC. And with all things, the way things played out, I think the coaches kind of got in their way in that game where it was like, look, why are you making or doing these crazy plays or whatever the case may be? Just run your offense. You don't have to go for it on fourth down if you do so, and you can actually just play within yourself. Well, what they did against Jacksonville State, they was able to play within themselves, and albeit that the defense didn't show up till late, the offense looked much better. And if you can do that to the point where this offense could keep Maine's offense off the field, or they're going to have to move the ball a little bit faster because we put up points so fast, you're going to, make the defense look a lot better. So this is the way that you may want to do it, where if Maine has a rushing attack, keep that running back on the sideline by you moving the ball, or not only that, just putting points up every time you get a chance. You put up another 40-point performance. I don't know if Maine could keep up with that, no matter how well their running game is. It's just going to become a point where if you are going to get a stop or two with that running game, because they're not going to. This is not like Ashton Genty. I don't see something like that happening. Fingers crossed, because you know how Georgia Southern is. I don't see nothing like that. I don't see what a Fresno State situation to be like. They're going to have to pass the ball against us. And if they're going to do that, I think it bodes well for us, especially playing at Paulson and all this good stuff. So I think they got a really good chance to continue to build on a solid defense performance that they did in the fourth quarter. Hopefully that manifests over to game day this upcoming Saturday, and they can do that. So hopefully this could be springboard something, because Georgia Southern needs this. If they can get that defense to play anywhere close to what they did in that second half, and they can still put up points offensively, if they can put up points in the special teams, like we see Dalen Cobb on the screen, if they can do stuff like that, or they don't even have to put points up on special teams, if they can just get good field position and make things happen, this could be something that really help Georgia Southern going into conference play and possibly making a run. JMU is on the schedule. We got to go to JMU, and that's going to be an early day game, I think. And that's going to be a tough environment. I mean, it just is what it is. And I'm not saying that we're going to go win that game. I mean, I already had it depicted that we're going to lose that game in the beginning of the season. I said that we'll go 10-3, lose to Fresno, lose to USC, lose to JMU, win all your other games. So I wouldn't be surprised. But if they can win that game after winning, this game against Maine, and you already beat Jacksonville State, you can go on a pretty significant run, because, like I said, you're still one of the best teams in the Sun Belt despite everything that has happened. Don't let these Power 4, Power 5 teams, discourage you on what this team is. This is still a pretty good team. They just need to execute better, and they just need to put the coaches need to get the guys in place to make things better. And I think you saw a little bit of that, especially on offense this past week. Because like I said, you saw a lot of plays that was ran that was actually pretty good plays, and it was executed very well. And these guys was able to put points on the board. I mean, you don't score 41 points. Well, I'll just say you don't score 34 points by just sitting there, just throwing the ball anywhere and not running the right plays. You got to do something right. Hopefully the defense can shut things down so we can hold teams to 17, 14, 10 points. And then you're talking about a team that can do something. So at the end of the day, I am more glass half full when it comes to what Georgia Southern is doing right now. I still think they have a very good chance to make a run. I mean, just because that things didn't go right these first two games. I mean, if we're really being honest, Fresno State was probably the more superior team, especially playing at home. If they played at Paulson, it might have been a different story. And you already know, like most people said, you're going to lose at USC. I figured that they'll score 20 points, and you saw it was a 59-20 game. And when it came to Jacksonville State, very nervous with this game, but I was surprised how well that the offense really played. I think the offense did a very good job at executing. The defense, you got something to build on. You saw what you did in the fourth quarter. You saw what you did in the third quarter, actually only giving up 10, which is still not bad, but you already gave up 24 before then. You know what I mean? So it is, it is what it is. So, you got to do a little bit better than that. But I just feel at the end of the day, they got something here. I think the Falcons definitely have something here. And I think really when you look at the Falcons and the way things went awry when we played against Tampa Bay, I think they kind of redeemed themselves last week. Well, this last game. I really think they did. They put on, it was a masterclass on the way they handled Minnesota. It was brutal. It was a beatdown. It was one of the most dominant performances that I've seen from the Falcons probably since the 2016 season when we went on the Super Bowl run. And that was a dominance. That was a type of dominance that was mostly offensive back in 2016. This was a defensive dominance of this game, and this is really refreshing to see. And as for the Georgia Southern Eagles, like I said, you know what you got to do. Just keep building on what you have, and I think they'll be fine. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all guys take it easy. And like, share, and subscribe, man. Please. We're making things happen over here. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.